All right, so we are out here on the range and we are doing some preparatory work with a patterning target and the Gen 12 Dracaris 3G Genesis and Terran tactical gun. Trying a couple of different types of ammo and chokes. What I just patterned is at 15 yards, Remington Gun Club 101/8 ounce 1145 7.5 shot. And that gave me this pattern. Nice and round. I've shot 4 targets, 1 shot each, and that's pretty consistently the pattern. What I'm finding is the 1 1/8 ounce loads seem to pattern more consistently at these longer distances, and there's a useful pattern. With the 1 ounce 1250 Federals you see there, the pattern is actually pretty erratic, spread out, and all over the board at just 15 yards. Now with the 1 ounce Federals, if I put my dot on this 6-inch plate somewhere, it'll still fall pretty reliably. But I bet with the 1145s, if I put the dot around the plate, not on it, it's gonna fall with some authority too. Gonna find out. All right, so 15 yards, we're gonna put the dot, we'll put it about 3 inches off the left edge and see what we get. Oh, just barely fell. I'm gonna go set that back up. I pushed it a little further left than I wanted, but it still fell. All right, so just off the edges, it's turning, but it's still falling. And so I feel pretty good about a dot somewhere in the vicinity of a plate at 15 yards with an IC choke and this ammo. And just to show you, this is the plate that I shot at 15 yards with that IC choke. And I was aiming about 3 inches over here to the right side. And you can see, brand new plate, so you can see the pellet strikes that turned it and knocked it over. This is also the stand type. It's just what I happen to have here. Unfortunately, it's not IPSC legal, so it might require more oomph to get the thing to go over the little tabs they use to stop rotation, but at the same time, all that force is pushing back and not rotating on an IPSC style stand, so I think it's probably okay, and it goes to serve my purpose today. All right, so same gun, patterning. This time we're using the 1 ounce 1250 load, but we put a modified choke in, and you can see compared to the Gun Club 1145, it's about the same. Yeah, it's pretty much the same. The left target's a little bigger, the right target's a little bit smaller. They average out to be about the same. And once you see the pattern really appearing like a circle with the impacts on the paper, there isn't much point to shooting more than 1 shot. I was doing 4 earlier, and the differences were pretty minute. So 1 shot at each distance with a good center hold is pretty good to get your pattern. So with that, we've got a mod choke in. We've got roughly the same pattern, but less density within it. We're gonna see if that's enough to take this plate over as well. All right, so same thing. We're gonna put about 3 inches off the right edge and see what we got. Will it fall? Yep, about the same result. So I know that at this distance with a mod choke, I can aim around that plate with a dot and still expect to have it fall. All right, so more patterning and ammo testing. And this is interesting because these are Remington game loads. They're 1 ounce 1290, so it's actually a common sporting load or sporting trap, skeet kind of thing. Not like gonna kill your shoulder, kind of quick. Power factor is actually the same as 1 ounce, 1 1/8 ounce 1145s. So this is at 15 yards with an IC choke, and that's where we're seeing this 20-inch pattern. And these pretty good coverage within, a little bit outside, but I try to measure just where we've got good coverage and where it generally looks like a circle. But you can see kind of bigger holes, so those pellets are heavier and carrying more momentum downrange. Out to 18 yards, once it gets beyond 20 inches, generally that's no longer useful for most 12 gauge. But we have a 24-inch pattern here with pretty good coverage and big pellets. So we're gonna see what that 24-inch pattern will do on a 6-inch plate if I aim somewhere over here. All right, so we're back at 18 yards. I'm gonna aim off of the left edge. And even with a pretty bad sight picture, that thing's still falling pretty okay, so not too bad. All right, so a little bit different idea of patterning with the Genesis Gen 12. I am at closer distance seeing what I can get away with around tight no shoots. So I made these paper targets, which have a 6-inch shoot target. That's kind of the standard for shotgun matches, flanked by no shoots. And I'm trying to look and see what I have as far as pellets on those no shoots. So I got my base patterns with 2 different types of ammo. And so what I'm seeing now is what do I need to do as far as chokes in order to get around no shoots. This is at 7 yards, and this is a 1 ounce 1250 7.5 Top Gun target. I patterned that underneath this as well, so I have 2 base patterns. I wanted to shoot these so you could see what it looks like. With this choke, you can see the pattern, and it's actually pretty consistent, more so than the gun clubs, but it's consistently about 8 inches. So centering my point of aim right here, you can see I have some pattern above it, plenty of coverage to knock over the plate. Problem is I have a couple edge hits here that probably wouldn't do anything, but this stuff over here on this no shoot definitely could. And this is with 1145 gun club. And so what we're seeing is wad strike, some pellet strikes in here. Representative of, you can see this kind of pattern's weird and inconsistent close in with much choke. So between 7.5, 6 inches tall by 8 inches wide and a weird point of impact. I'm probably taking this no shoot out, and you can see there's some spread above and to the bottom of the target. So really the answer is going to be more choke with this gun and this ammo to solve this problem of a plate completely flanked by no shoots. So we're going to choke up a little bit. We're going to go to a full choke and see if that changes the calculus. Okay, so we're doing some more close range patterning around no shoots, and I have 3 shots all with the same ammo type and a full choke. This is 1 ounce 1250 7.5 Top Gun target with a full choke at 7 yards, and we have round patterns, 6-inch, 7-inch, and 6-inch. Pretty consistent, no flyers, just the size changes a little bit, and that's why at this distance on these critical shots I am patterning with more than 1 shot. I think that's important in order to avoid getting a no shoot. You can see this is consistent. The weird part is I do have a weirdly off-center group. I don't think I pulled it at 7 with, you know, a badass gun that I can shoot well. So what I'm learning here is there's no slack with this choke and that ammo. And if I break a shot here, I am hitting this no shoot. There's even some variability in point of impact. So if I want to guarantee success, not probably 2 out of 3 times it'll be fine, I need either a tighter choke or ammo that patterns tighter. Here's the difference between 2 ammo types though. This is 1145 ounce and 1/8 gun club. And what we're seeing is the bulk of the pattern is tighter. And that's what I found with the other chokes too, is at close distances, the bulk of the pattern's tighter, but you get more of these flyers slipping out. And these by themselves shouldn't cause problems. Here's the thing. So I have a 5.5-inch pattern, but 6.5 if I include these flyers. 5.5 and oblong, but it's 6.5 if I include this pellet that's way the hell over here in bad place land. And then the last group, our shot that I fired, came in at a 6.5-inch group, and it kind of looks like a circle, but it's much bigger. And we are getting closer to bad place land with those 2 pellet strikes over in the no shoot. So the conclusions I'm starting to draw, well, we're going to have to look at an extra full choke as we get into the 18-inch barrels on, say, the Genesis, and your Vepers are going to perform different. Your tube guns with a longer barrel might be different. I wish I had done this with my Benelli's back when I was shooting standard or tactical. All I have is a full, so we're going to have to find a Rem-Choke extra full, and I'm going to try a couple different ammo types and see if they behave a little bit differently.